This video provides an overview of environmental concerns related to closures in construction projects. In construction, a closure refers to the temporary or permanent shutdown of specific work activities, sections of a project, or entire job sites. These shutdowns often stem from strict regulatory mandates, essential environmental protection protocols, or unforeseen site conditions, such as severe weather or unexpected ecological findings. Whether planned or sudden, managing these shutdowns proactively is essential. Proper site stabilization, runoff control, and compliance management help prevent costly project delays while directly minimizing harm to surrounding ecosystems. Site closures generally fall into three distinct categories. First, temporary closures. These are short-term halts driven by adverse weather events, seasonal environmental regulations, or strategic schedule adjustments to maintain safety and compliance. Next are partial closures. In this scenario, only specific zones of the job site are restricted, often to carry out targeted soil remediation, manage unexpected contamination, or protect sensitive local wildlife habitats while work continues elsewhere. Finally, permanent closures mark the complete end of construction activities or site decommissioning, requiring comprehensive environmental rehabilitation and long-term land restoration before final handover. When a construction site closes, environmental risks don't simply shut down. One of the most critical challenges during closures is managing soil erosion and sediment control. Once natural vegetation is cleared, exposed ground becomes extremely vulnerable. During rainfall, loose soil easily washes away, triggering sediment pollution in nearby water bodies. Without proactive management, this runoff chokes rivers, lakes, and drainage systems, severely disrupting local aquatic ecosystems and wildlife habitats. Properly stabilizing soil and establishing effective sediment barriers before any site closure is essential to safeguarding our surrounding waterways and the environment. Another critical risk during site shutdowns is water pollution. When a site closes, stormwater runoff can sweep hazardous materials straight into local water systems. This runoff often carries heavy loads of sediment, oils, and chemical residues from exposed areas and machinery. Such contamination poses severe threats, not only poisoning delicate aquatic life, but also compromising nearby human drinking water supplies. To prevent these hazards, establishing robust containment measures, securing chemical storage, and maintaining proper drainage management are absolutely vital steps before any project closure is finalized. Timing is everything when shutting down a project, especially regarding habitat disruption. Closure activities often coincide with sensitive ecological cycles, such as wildlife breeding and nesting seasons. Without thorough environmental assessments beforehand, heavy demobilization work can inadvertently destroy critical habitats and displace vulnerable local fauna. Conversely, when planned strategically, some site closures are specifically timed and executed to protect endangered species and actively restore natural ecosystems. Prioritizing environmental impact reviews ensures closure schedules support, rather than disrupt, delicate wildlife cycles. A major environmental hazard during site shutdowns involves waste management issues. When operations cease, abandoned materials, general construction debris, and hazardous waste are frequently left unsecured on site. Improper storage during these closure phases significantly increases the danger of toxic contaminants leaching directly into the surrounding soil and groundwater. Leaving discarded materials exposed to the elements creates long-term environmental liabilities. To prevent severe contamination and maintain site integrity, teams must develop and execute effective waste containment protocols, secure hazardous substances, and establish thorough site removal plans well before closing down operations. Air quality is another major concern when shutting down a construction site. If large cleared areas are left exposed, dry, and unmaintained, wind can quickly generate massive clouds of fugitive dust. This surge in airborne particles severely degrades local air quality and poses direct respiratory risks to nearby communities and site personnel. To safeguard public health, proactive dust suppression measures are critical throughout the closure process. Simple, effective actions, such as covering exposed topsoil, applying water sprays, or using surface stabilizers, keep dust grounded and ensure surrounding air stays clean and safe. Implementing structured environmental management practices during site closures is essential for long-term site stability. First, erosion and sediment control safeguards vulnerable ground. Teams utilize silt fences, sediment basins, and active revegetation to stabilize the soil, alongside mulching and temporary cover crops to shield exposed surfaces from wind and rain. Second, robust stormwater management prevents off-site contamination. Installing dedicated drainage controls effectively directs runoff away from fragile areas, significantly reducing pollutant loads. Coupled with regular monitoring of water discharge quality, These proactive measures ensure minimal ecological impact throughout the closure lifecycle. Completing a site closure requires 3 essential operational practices. First, waste and hazardous material handling ensures secure storage of toxic substances alongside proper recycling and disposal of construction debris. Next, site rehabilitation restores the landscape by regrading natural land contours and replanting native vegetation to accelerate ecosystem recovery. Finally, continuous monitoring and reporting maintains accountability. Conducting thorough environmental inspections ensures strict regulatory compliance, while comprehensive documentation captures all closure activities and verifies minimal environmental impact. Together, these steps ensure a responsible, sustainable exit. Navigating legal and regulatory requirements is vital to ensure a compliant, penalty-free site closure. First, operations must maintain strict compliance with environmental regulations, including standards like the Clean Water Act and local environmental statutes. Second, teams are required to secure all necessary permits governing decommissioning activities and protection controls before shutting down. Finally, conducting a comprehensive environmental impact assessment, or EIA, is crucial. Performing an EIA prior to closure identifies potential ecological risks early, enabling teams to implement proactive mitigation strategies and meet every regulatory benchmark with confidence. Thank you.